The reason common sense is not that common anymore is because we've now been convinced and we've been trained to rely on the intellect. The intellect derives from the ego. The ego is insatiable. There is not enough admiration in the entire world to satisfy the ego. Intellect and intellectuals tend to hold on to information and then spout it out whenever the opportunity approaches. Common sense knows that you don't know something, asks simple questions, tries to get to the root of it, simplifies things, doesn't make things complicated. That's why children are constantly asking the simplest of questions. Parents and adults, when they don't know the answer, or when they try to convince them of what the answer is, a child would say that doesn't make any sense, or they'll ask a further question because they realize that it doesn't make any sense to them. It's very simple to them. But the adult believes it because they've been told that same answer so many times that now they've internalized it and they've actually associated themselves with it. So they've identified themselves with the answer. And they believe it so fervently that if someone else doesn't believe it, they get upset. And so they resort to telling kids things like, oh, you're too young to understand. Or when you're older, you understand. Basically, that's code. It's kind of unconscious code of saying, you need to hear it enough times and you'll believe it. Common sense just asks simple questions. We all have it. We're all born with it. But we push it off to the side once we start believing in other people. Not in what they're saying, but believing in them. And we think that they can't be wrong because they've got these degrees, they've got this and the other. And that's why you'll see the smartest of people, they get fooled all the time. They lose their money and whatnot because they believe in what are called so-called experts. We know that experts are wrong all the time. The intellect derives from the ego. The ego is insatiable. The ego is like a parasite, except it doesn't care if the host lives or not, as long as it gets to live. Now, that doesn't make any sense when you put it that way, but it actually does make a lot of sense because the ego is a spirit. So it doesn't have a physical form. So if you believe in your intellect, you're basically feeding your ego, and your ego only cares about destroying you. It doesn't care about your longevity. It doesn't even care about surviving because it cannot die. But the only way you can get rid of it is by recognizing that you're wrong, that you don't know anything. Someone had once said, I'm the smartest, I think it was Socrates, said, I'm the smartest man in the world because I know that I don't know anything. If you notice, kids don't know anything, but they know that they don't know anything, so they ask questions. And then someone else had said, I think it was Einstein, if you can't explain it in simplest form, then you don't understand it well enough. And most people can't explain things in the simplest forms because they just believe it almost blindly. So they don't necessarily have any evidence for it. They just believe it and they're kind of indoctrinated into it. And so common sense has gone to the wayside. It's been replaced by the ego. It's been replaced by the intellect, which derives from the ego.